Okay, the journey continues. The penultimate, is that right? Penultimate level of the game. You're getting closer now. As you can see, the mountain that you're there. Beginning of the game, it seems so long ago now, but it wasn't that long at all. It was just a speck in the distance, and now you're right up the mountain, and you're at the base of it. And it's getting harder. It's getting snowy. It's getting windy, and the elements are against you now. And the game does an excellent way of really making you feel that your journey's becoming quite harsh. You've been in the depths of the city, being scared by monsters. You've been lost in the temple, and now you've come out, and it's harsh. It's battering. And the key here is you've got to use these stones to shield you from the weather, to shield you from the harshness. Me and my friend here, my travelling companion, are doing our best to advance, but you get these big gusts of wind, and if you're not standing behind them stones, you'll get blown all the way back to the beginning of the section where it is. But you can pretty much time it. You can time it just as the gust finishes. You can time it just enough to get behind and make yourself ready for the next push, as it were. This level really is all about fighting the elements and pushing on. It's kind of making you feel that your journey's coming to that end, but you've just got to push that little bit more, put that little bit more effort in. But it's probably the one of the longest levels in the sections in the game. And I think it's, like I've said before in previous ones, the pacing is amazing, and it really does give a sense of I'm battling on in my journey. So once you get through that part there where the gusts are pushing you back, you sort of come out, and this is actually above where you enter. You've kind of gone around in a loop, and if you was to look to the right down into the valley, that's where you actually entered the level. So you're kind of climbing, you're just getting that bit higher, that little bit higher up the mountain, and working your way forward. Here is a little section which possibly you might just go, that looks quite nice, and walk on. However, it's not just there for show. If you go in and give it a little call, you'll notice that everything glows up and it all warms up, and it's all nice and lovely and cozy. But if you float up, here we have another one of our historian monuments for the trophy. As I said before, if you want to know where they all are in one little video, please go to the channel and it will be there somewhere. But I have got them all, and there is a trophy to be had. Then once you've done that, you can wake up this bridge by giving it a little call. My friend was blooming lucky there not to fall, and I was lucky there not to fall as well. But you can go across the bridge, and that's the bridge at the beginning of the level you can see high above. And you advance further on into the wind and the snow and pushing you back. It really does get quite harsh. As I said, the sense of feeling that you are really battling the elements is great. You can't sing the praises of the people who have made this game any higher. Genova Chen, who I had the pleasure of meeting a few months ago. Fascinating to talk to and get his insights in on what he was trying to do for the game. And I think from what he was explaining to me about the multiplayer and how it works, and about how you're supposed to feel like you're on your journey, I think they've absolutely got it spot on. The game's quite short, really. If you just push forward all the way and bat on, you can do the whole game in probably a couple of hours, maybe even a bit less. But I am on I think it's my 5th or 6th playthrough now, and I am not bored of it. I'm quite looking forward to going through it again. This bit here, as you was going through there, you just saw you can take cover from the monsters in those metal crates. Now that kind of leads you to the right. It kind of makes you think that you should keep going to the right. However, this lonely stone up here to the left as I had to signal to my pal here. He thought I was walking into nowhere, but it's because I had discovered just around this corner up here, as you can see as you come out of the wind, is actually a cave. And yeah, realised that I knew something. And in the cave we have yet another of the historian trophy story tablets. I'm sure all these tablets do explain a lot more. I'm sure if you could look into them, if anyone does know or works out what each of them mean, or I'm sure they just describe your journey, but if there's any other underlying meaning, I'll be all pleased to hear from you if you know. But once you get through that section, you have more of these small little metal bunkers to help you through. As you can see, the looming spotlight of these monsters comes along. Same as in the underground levels. If they get hold of you, if they notice you, they will hit you, they will strike you, and you will lose part of your scarf. So you do have to take your time a bit here, and that they're weaving in and out of the different places. And this is good here because my friend goes one way and I go the other, so it shows there's multiple ways. There's no right or wrong way here. He's in the other one, making his little dash for it over there, and then I'll make my little dash over here into what appears to be some sort of castle up the mountain. I'm not sure if all this was built by you. I'm interested to know what these baddies are, really, who they are. Nevertheless, if you can avoid these and get through, as we got both just done there, through different routes, you can then make it through into this section. Interestingly enough, as you get further up the mountain and the colder it becomes and the harsher the weather, your calls become less distinct and become weaker and not as loud. I guess simulating in the wind. If you were shouting in the wind, you wouldn't be able to hear. You wouldn't be able to hear the screams of someone. Lovely views, lovely camera angles as you weave your way up the mountain. Frozen flying carpets escorting you as you go. And then we come into this small courtyard. Fantastic score. Really does flow beautifully with the game. And this section is quite simple. You simply float up the frozen materials and into the next level. And as that moves you up, you weave your way through the rocks, and you come out into this spectacular sequence here. You're right in the castle, right high up in the mountain. Wind is blazing, bursting, and there it is. Look at that. Epic. Absolutely epic. So here what you've got to do, fairly simple to realise, is as the wind blows, if you've got to hide behind a rock. You can see my friend, he's struggling there, and then you've got to make a dash for it really quickly behind the rocks before the wind starts to blow, and you can stop there while the wind blows and howls. The sound effects and the physics and everything here is absolutely outstanding. And the wind blows down the stairs, and you can make a run for it. It's a bit slightly more trickier because, as you can see, the banisters have gone, so you've got no way of doing what you're doing here. You can fall down, and you won't die if you fall down there. There is another ledge, and you can get up, but it's just inconvenient, irritating. So it's always better just to wait that little bit for the wind, and you can have it across there and out into the snowy desert with your partner. So the mountain's getting closer, but the wind's getting harsher, the terrain's getting harsher, the snow's getting harsher, and you just get blown about like a rag doll. So that's where I'm going to finish off on this talk through, because I'm not going to spoil what happens on this bit, because it's great, so I'm going to let you play it and find out yourself. But if you want to know what happens in the next level, please join me for the final part of this walkthrough.